Welcome, we have collected 5 of the most interesting events that took place on the 20th of April in history. On April 20, 1534, the French explorer Jacques Cartier set out on his first expedition to Canada. His first voyage was mainly focused on finding a northwest passage to Asia, but instead he explored the coast of Newfoundland and the Gulf of St. Lawrence. During his expedition, Cartier encountered the indigenous peoples of the region, including the Mi'kmaq and Stadacon peoples, with whom he established friendly relations. He also claimed land for France, naming it New France. Cartier's explorations of Canada paved the way for French settlement and colonization in the region. Despite the difficulties he faced, Cartier's travels to Canada opened up new opportunities for trade and research in North America. Today, Cartier's legacy is celebrated in Canada as an important figure in the country's history and in the exploration of the North American continent. On April 20, 1770, British explorer James Cook and his crew landed at a place he called Botany Bay, on the southeast coast of Australia, which is now part of the state of New South Wales. This was the first documented encounter of Europeans with this land and its indigenous people. Cook's expedition was commissioned by the British government to explore and map the largely unknown South Pacific. Despite the tense meeting with the local population, Cook and his team continued to explore and map the east coast of Australia, discovering many new bays, islands and rivers. Cook's discovery of New South Wales would lead to the eventual colonization of Australia by the British and the displacement and subjugation of the indigenous peoples who had lived there for tens of thousands of years. On April 20, 1792, France declared war on Austria, which at that time was ruled by the Hungarian Czech King Leopold II. The war eventually expanded to include most of the major European powers and became known as the French Wars of Independence. In the years leading up to the war, tensions between France and Austria grew. France experienced a revolution that overthrew the monarchy and installed a new government that was seen as a threat by other European nations. Austria, in particular, was concerned about the spread of revolutionary ideas and the possibility of instability on its borders. The declaration of war caused a mixed reaction in France. Some saw it as a necessary step to protect the revolution and spread its ideals, while others feared it would lead to a prolonged and bloody conflict. Ultimately, the war would last more than 20 years and have a profound effect on European history. On April 20, 1949, the First World Peace Congress opened in Paris. The Congress was organized by the International Peace Movement, and more than 2,000 delegates from various peacekeeping organizations and countries of the world took part in it. The purpose of the Congress was to promote peace and disarmament, as well as to strengthen international cooperation in order to prevent the outbreak of a new world war. Delegates discussed a number of topics related to peace and security, including disarmament, the United Nations and the promotion of peace education. Congress also passed a series of resolutions and declarations, including the Paris Appeal, which called for an end to the arms race and the establishment of a permanent system of international security. It remains an important moment in the history of the struggle for global peace and security. On April 20, 1990, Czechoslovakia was officially renamed the Czech and Slovak Federal Republic. The Czechoslovak Federal Republic was created as a federation between the Czech Republic and Slovakia, each with its own government and parliament. The renaming of the country was to reflect the fact that the Czechs and Slovaks were equal partners in the new federation. The name Czechoslovakia was seen as having connotations of the country's former communist regime, and many Czechs and Slovaks believed the new name was necessary to signal a break with the past. The Czech and Slovak Federal Republic lasted only 3 years, as the two countries peacefully split into the Czech Republic and Slovakia on January 1, 1993. Despite the split, the two countries continue to maintain close ties and cooperate on a number of issues. Thanks for watching, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you want to send thanks to the authors and finance the development of the channel, there are also links to several possible options for this in the description. Goodbye.